We are on lesson 5.11 in our Go Math book. Today we're learning about how to solve multi-step problems. And the essential question is, how do you decide what steps to do to solve a problem? We're on page 269. They want us to label the bar model to show each problem and then solve it. Cassie has 32 sheets of paper. She gives Jeff 9 sheets of paper. How many sheets of paper does Cassie have now? So we know the total. We know that in all, Cassie has 32 sheets of paper. So we can put that down here. And out of her 32 sheets, she gives Jeff 9 of them. But she still has quite a bit of paper left. We don't know how much she has left. So we can use our bar model to help us. We have the total, and we have one of the parts. So that means to find the other part, we need to subtract. So it would be 32 minus 9 equals something. So we'll put our T out here. 32. Make sure the 9 goes in the ones place. Draw your line and your minus sign. So 2 minus 9. Can you do that? No. So we need to go next door. Instead of 3 tens, we have 2. And instead of 2 ones, we have 12. So 12 minus 9 is 3. And 2 minus nothing is 2. So the other number that goes here in our bar model is that she has 23 pieces of paper left. Cassie draws 18 pictures and Jeff draws 16 pictures. How many pictures do they draw? So they tell us how many that Cassie drew and they tell us how many that Jeff drew, and what they're asking us to find is the total. So we're going to have the two parts here. So Cassie draws 18 and Jeff draws 16. So now we have the two parts. That tells us to get the last answer that we need, we have to add to get that. So we're going to do 18 plus 16 equals something. Draw your T over there, draw your 18 and your 16, and remember this time we are going to add. We've been doing so much subtracting, but this is asking us to add to find our answer. So 8 plus 6 is 14. Put the 4 ones down and the 110 up, and 1, 2, 3. So together they drew 34 pictures. For our math talk, he asked, describe how the two bar models are different. Well, if you remember, in this bar model, we knew the total and we knew one part. We didn't know the other part. So we had to subtract to find that other part. In this bar model, we knew our two parts, so we had to add to get the part that was missing. We had to add to get our total. Turn your paper over, and we are on page 270, and at the top where it says Model and Draw. Bar models help you know what to do to solve a problem. Allie has 27 stamps. Matt has 38 stamps. How many more stamps are needed so they will have 91? So this is a two-step problem. We have to do something first before we can find that answer. So it says first, find how many stamps they have now. So here's Allie's 27, here's Matt's 38. They don't really give us a lot of space to work, so find a place to put a T in there someplace. And because we have our two parts, to get that last answer right there, we're going to add to get that, to get the total. So 7 plus 8 is 15. Put the 5 ones and put the 110 on the top. And 3 plus 2 is 5, and 1 more is 6. So 65 is what they have now. So they have 65 stamps now. Okay. So what this problem is asking us is how many more stamps are needed so they will have 91 stamps. 91 is what they want. They have 65. How many more do they need to make it so that they have 91? So this time we have the total that they want, and we have one of the parts. We need to know what this part is. When we don't know one of the parts, that's when we subtract. So we're going to use our total. We're going to subtract the 65. 1 minus 5. We can't do that. So we go next door. Instead of 9 tenths, we have 8. And instead of 1 1, we have 11. So 11 minus 5 is 6. And 8 minus 6 is 2. So they need 26 more stamps. 26 more stamps. Okay. So on the bottom it says complete the bar models for the steps complete the bar models for the steps you do to solve the problem. You also always need to think, what do you need to find first? All right, so Jen has 93 beads. Anna has 46 red beads and 29 blue beads. How many more beads does Anna need to have 93 beads also? Well, this is very similar to what we just did up there. It is a two-step problem. So what do we have to find out first? First, we need to find out how many beads Anna has. We know that she has 46 red and 29 blue, but we don't know what her total is. So there's her 46 and there's her 29. So we have the two parts. So to get the whole, or the total, we need to add. So 46 and 29. And we're going to add here. So 6 plus 9 is 15. 5 goes down and the 1 goes up. And the 4 and 2 is 6, and 1 more is 7. So right now Anna has 75. Okay. Now, Anna needs or wants to have the same number as Jen. So Jen has 93. See how this whole bar is not divided? It's the whole number. So 93 is what Jen has, and that's what Anna wants to have. But Anna has 75. So how many more does she need here so that she is equal to that 93? What is that going to be? So again, we have a whole and we have one of the parts. So we're going to subtract to find how many more she needs. 93, 75. 3 minus 5, we can't do that. So we go next door. Instead of 9 tenths, we're going to have 8. And instead of 3 ones, we're going to have 13. 13 minus 5 is 8. And 8 minus 7 is 1. So this space right here, she needs 18 more beads, and we need to also put our answer here beside our label. 18 more beads. All right, we're going to go to the next page. We're on page 271. And we're going to do this together. We'll work through this together. Sometimes word problems can be a little bit confusing, so we're going to work on them. If you feel like you can do it on your own, stop this recording, go ahead and do them, and then you can check to see if you have it correct with me. So Max has 35 trading cards. He buys 22 more cards. Then he gives 14 cards to Rudy. How many cards does Max have now? All right. So Max has 35 trading cards and he buys 22 more. So we need to find out how many cards does Max have. So he has the 35 and he has 22. So we have the two parts. So to find out how many he has, we're going to add that. So we'll make a T right here. 35 plus the 22. 5 plus 2 is 7. And 3 plus 2 is 5. So he has 57 cards. Then he gives 14 cards to Rudy. So how many cards does Max have now? So he started with 57. That's his total. And he gives away 14 of them. So we want to know how many does he have left? What is this number here? So this time we have one part and we have the whole. So to find out the other part, we have to subtract. So we start with the 57, and we're going to subtract the 14 that he gives away. 7 minus 4, can we do that? Yes, that's 3. And 5 minus 1 is 4. So he has 43 cards left. You need to fill it in on the bar model and also next to the label. Number 3, Drew has 32 toy cars. He trades 7 of those cars for 11 other toy cars. How many toy cars does Drew have now? Okay. So Drew has 32 toy cars. So we have a total. And he trades 7 of those cars for 11 other toy cars. So he trades 7. So what's going to go in here? So we have the 32 and the 7 that he trades. So we have the whole and one of the parts, and we're missing the other part. So we need to subtract to find that. They don't give us a lot of room to work here. So 32 minus the 7. So 2 minus 7, can we do that? No. So we have to go next door, and instead of 3 10s we have 2, and instead of 2 1s we have 12. So 12 minus 7 is 5, and 2 minus nothing is 2. So the other part here is 25. Okay. So after he traded away those 7 cards, he had 25 left. So we're going to put that 25 down here. And then he gets 11 cars. He traded those 7 for 11. That was a pretty good trade. So I'm going to put that 11 over there. So now we want to know how many cars does he have now. So in this bar model, we have 2 parts, and we're missing the whole. So when we have the 2 parts, we add. So 25 plus the 11. 5 plus 1 is 6, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So 36 toy cars is what he ends up with in the end. He started with 32, he traded 7 of those cars, but got 11 cars back. So how many toy cars did he have? He ended up with 36. Number 4. Marta and Debbie each have 17 ribbons. They buy one package with 8 ribbons in it. How many ribbons do they have now? Okay, so first we need to find out how many ribbons Marta and Debbie have. So Marta and Debbie each have 17 ribbons. So Marta has 17 and Debbie has 17. So we have the 2 parts. We need to find out what the total is. So 17 and 17, and because it's the 2 parts, we're going to add. So 7 plus 7 is 14. 4 goes down and the 1 goes up, and 1, 2, 3. So we know that they have 34 ribbons. Then they buy one package with 8 ribbons in it. So how many ribbons do they have now? So we know they have 34, and they get 8 more. So now, again, we're looking for a total. So we'll take the 34 plus the 8. 4 plus 8 is 12. Put the 2 down and the 1 up. And 3 plus 1 is 4. So in the end, they end up with 42 ribbons. We'll turn this paper over. And we're doing just a little bit more problem solving here on the back, and we'll be done. So number 5 says, Shelby had 32 rocks. she finds 33 more rocks at the park and gives 28 rocks to George. So how many rocks does she have now? So this is a two-step problem. The first thing we need to do is find out how many rocks Shelby has. So Shelby has 32 rocks and she finds 33 more rocks. So let's do that. She had 32 and she finds 33. So we're going to get a total here, so we want to add 2 plus 3 is 5 and 3 plus 3 is 6. Okay, so that's how many rocks she has. But she's a good friend and she gives 28 rocks to George. So she has 65 and she gives 28, so we need another T. There's our 65, and she's going to give away 28. So 5 minus 8, can we do that? No. So instead of 6 tens, we have 5 tens, and instead of 5 ones, we put the 10 with it, we have 15. 15 minus 8 is 7, and 5 minus 2 is 3. So in the end, Shelby has 37 rocks. Number 6, this is a hot one. Benjamin finds 31 pine cones at the park. Together, Jenna and Ellen find the same number of pine cones as Benjamin. How many pine cones could each girl have found? So there is more than one answer to this. There are different answers that you could have. But we know that Benjamin finds 31 and Jenna and Ellen together are going to equal the same thing. They are also finding 31 together. They don't each find 31, but their two numbers are going to add up to 31. So to pick a number, let's say we'll start with the 31. That was Benjamin's number. And we're going to pick a number that is smaller than 31. So let's say we pick 18. We're going to subtract that. So 1 minus 8, can we do that? No. So we go to the tens, and instead of 3 tens, we have 2. And instead of 1, 1, we have 11. So 11 minus 8, 3. 2 minus 1 is 1. So now we have two numbers that it could be. We could say that Jenna found 18 and that Ellen found 13. Because our two numbers have to equal 31. Should we check just to be sure that they do? Make a T up here and do the 18 and the 13 because they found the same number as Benjamin. Let's add. 8 plus 3 is 11. So the 1 goes down and the 1 goes up. And 1, 1, and 1 is 3. So their two numbers equal 31. We could have said that Jenna found 20 pine cones because that would be less than 31. And we could subtract that and find out how many Ellen had. It would be a different number. We could have said that Jenna found 15 pine cones and subtracted that from 31 to find out how many Ellen had. So there were many different answers that you could have here. Number 7, Tanya finds 22 leaves. Maurice finds 5 more leaves than Tanya finds. How many leaves do the two children find? I have found that many times boys and girls want to take the 22 and the 5 and add it together to get a total, and that is not correct. That is not what this is asking you. Tanya finds 22 leaves. Maurice finds 5 more leaves than Tanya finds. Do we know how many Maurice has found? This is a two-step problem, and we need to find that out first. So Tanya had 22, and Maurice has 5 more than that. So we need to add that together. So 2 plus 5 is 7, and 2 plus nothing is 2. So now we know Maurice. I'm going to put 27 right up here beside Maurice, and we know Tanya's. So now they're asking us, how many leaves do the two children find? We know Tanya's number, and we know Maurice's number. And we're looking for a total to see how many they find in all. So 22 and the 27. So 2 plus 7 is 9, and 2 plus 2 is 4, and I do see 49 over there on the side. So now that we have done all of this together, we are done with this assignment.